All right, welcome back to Off the Tap. This week is episode 91, and we're doing Love Street Peach from Karbach Brewing Company.
This is also my, as we just calculated, because I don't have a separate ticker running because I don't care, but this is my 60th episode. And since it's a round number, it feels significant.
Yeah, it does feel a little more significant, huh?
Yeah, I think it's,
Last week was 90, and we were like, yeah. But this week is 60 for you. That's kind of big.
yeah. I mean, I think, yeah. Actually, obviously, the 90's bigger, but it's just any round. Like, episode 55 is, in my opinion, more important than 58
Yeah.
or 59. I
And
know that's
56 and 57.
Yeah, it's just those multiples of five. It's kind of like when you get gas, like, bro, I'll pour out 10 cents just so that she's round. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I'll squirt it real quick. It's the
I,
same with volume on the TV for me. You know what I mean?
oh yeah.
I can do fives or zeros, but if I have to get in the middle, it has to be an even number. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I was gonna say I can do 12s, 14s, and multiples of five. Like even numbers and multiple of five. I could do
Yeah.
12, 14, 15, 16, but 13 and 17, sorry. You're gonna have to pack your shit and go to the house.
Yeah. Get away. Go on now. So this is a light lager coming in at 4.2% ABV and 10 IBUs. Clearly, they've decided to do a run of multiple different beers with the Love Streets.
So now that you say light, okay, right? So you said 4.2 ABV and 10 IBUs, right?
Yeah.
That's what the can says. So it just made me think. Love Street obviously has been around for a hot minute, okay?
Right.
Is this Love Street Peach or technically is it Love Street Light Peach?
Yeah, because their Love Street Light is also 4.2%.
That's what I'm saying.
So
And
yeah,
the regular Love Street's 5, right?
Um,
4.9 maybe? 4.9
maybe, maybe so. It's somewhere up there though. Let me see if I can find it on their site real quick. Yeah, it's definitely lighter.
4.9, I was right. It's sad to know that, like just off the top, but some of us are blessed with it, and some of us is Maybelline.
I mean, they got a lot. You know, they got the Love Street Blonde, the Love Street Light, the Love Street Citrus. They got the Love Street Peach. And then is there not just a regular Love Street? Is that what the Love Street Blonde is?
Yeah, the Love Street Blonde is just the regular Love Street.
But it used to just be Love Street, right?
No, I
Or
think
did
it's
it
always been
always?
a blonde.
It's always said blonde. Okay.
Yeah, I just don't think anybody's ever paid attention to it. Bro, you know what's disappointing? The further back I have to go in the freaking scroller when you're putting your birthday in. You know what I mean? I must have had to roll the thing like 7 times.
Yeah.
And it displayed of many years.
Yeah, it gets a little depressing. I was actually just doing that to get onto their site myself, which yet again, why?
I don't know. We don't even necessarily.
Anyways, I was just doing that, and I was like, why did I even scroll this far? I could have just gone to 2002.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You know, like they don't need my actual birth date. You know, how many people you think are looking at that website that are underaged? Honestly, how many people you think? 5?
I don't know. Well, that's the thing. So we talk about it all the time. I don't ever once remember visiting a website of beer when I was underage.
No.
Were we getting it, drinking it? Yes. But I wasn't going to their websites.
I wasn't going to the website and going, ooh, which one do I want? No, I was getting the cheapest thing that I could get.
Do you think that the ABV of this one's any better? I don't know. That would have been something that would have been of importance.
Maybe.
We've already talked about this, that like dollar for dollar, pound per pound, the Rolling Rock is the cheapest thing. Like, it's not going to be cheap. Yeah, based on ABV for sure. That I found.
Yeah.
Maybe Red Dog, or Mad Dog. No, Red Dog.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So back to the old Love Street Blonde. So they got the blonde, they got the light, they got the citrus, and then obviously the seasonal, the peach. Before we get into it, right? Because we recently just did a peach.
Yeah.
What? So obviously we'll be comparing that to this, maybe more so than others of a variation like this. But one thing that I just got to ask, like, when I first saw this, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't compare it to the other peach that we had done. I immediately compared it to like Bush apple or something like that, right? I
Okay.
feel like, you know what I'm saying? Because they got Bush peach too.
They do.
Yeah, and I don't know
Bush is really
why.
branching out, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it ain't, they're not gonna make it worse. Like, so there's no risk. You know what I mean?
That's
I wonder with this, I wonder with this is the peach what like why peach? Like, I don't put listen, lime, salt, good with beer. Lemon, right? We talked about it with the shandies. But there's a peach doesn't just jump out at me as like, yeah, we should definitely be putting that in there. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's kind
So
of
why it
weird
must be
to me.
common enough.
Well, I mean, also you got breweries that are making like sours and stuff with nuts, like almonds and
Bro, that's
stuff.
nuts.
That is nuts. But you know, it they
Moving on.
get people are doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah,
So
I
maybe
know,
this was
but
maybe this
it's
was like a maybe this was just like a stumbled upon thing, you know?
I mean, I get it, but it seems like a lot of people are doing it with peach. You
I
know?
guess it's a summertime thing, I guess, you know.
Possibly, because yeah, does Steiner have a peach? No, they got the
Oh, I don't
ruby red
know.
grapefruit.
They got the
Either way,
grapefruit, yeah.
the two questions I asked myself was, why do I not correlate peach with, with beer until you force it down my throat? Second, not that you have to force it. The second thing is it Love Street Light peach? Because I get vibes like that.
I think yes, it's a light lager. So,
Yeah.
it definitely could be. What what is the cit is the citrus also a light? Is it also
I don't know.
4.2?
I'm gonna click on it. It is 4.6.
Okay. So,
But it's still got the same IBUs. Let's look at the IBU on the old blonde here. 16 IBUs, 4.9. So yeah, they come down as they add
a little bit.
fruit.
Okay. I mean, that kind of makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. In fact, the OG blonde is the only one that's above 10 IBUs.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, I'm
Uh,
gonna get into it. Give it an
yeah,
old
sorry.
taste.
I'm gonna give her a little pour here. Can you hear that?
I did hear that. Yeah. Now I can't,
Nice.
but I heard it at the initial pour.
Yeah, no. All right, so get a little as I'm getting the head to settle. I'm gonna give you a little shot of it. It is crystal clear.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a
It
light beer.
almost
It looks light.
it reminds me of the prop beer, the salt water that they use in probably I think we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Um, but
It almost looks
peachy,
it's so clear it almost looks fake.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
head's like thin but very full.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, no cap.
No cap.
Is that okay? Okay, we're gonna see if I use that correctly. Jive to
Oh.
the Jive to the beat of the music with this far out blonde, delicately hopped with German floral hops and the flavor of fresh picked peaches to ripen your mood and keep your swinging through the day. Not a worry in the world, and all things are peachy keen with a Love Street peach in hand.
Mm. That's just on
Yeah.
the can.
No, I just wrote that. Of course it's on the can. Where the fuck would I have gotten that?
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Listen,
Okay,
I
okay.
didn't I
I'm
didn't know
sorry.
if, I didn't realize if you were using or reading the can or reading the website. I wouldn't.
Okay, yeah, okay, I'll give you a little bit of a free pass on that one. Sorry, I didn't mean to come off so aggressive. I'm not that good. I'm close. I'm fucking close, but
Oh
I'm not
yeah,
that good. Yeah.
you can write some
Yeah, just
slogans, but not that long.
yeah, music to your beer. Does it say that? Yeah, it says that on all the can.
Okay.
Um, yeah, they've
Uh,
also got. I mean, obviously, I've never had a staycation. Have you ever had a staycation?
a staycation.
Yeah, the beer.
Oh, I was like, I mean, I've stayed at home and not done anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure.
No, I've never had it's one of their beers?
Mm-hmm.
No, I've never even
It's
seen it.
the seasonal session ale.
Mm-mm.
Never even seen it either.
Never seen it. I do see on their site though that the recommended pairings for this one are all very well, I guess not very healthy, but like summer salads, calamari,
Calamari.
shrimp, ceviche, grilled whitefish, and chicken.
Yeah, I the thing is when you fruit nothing against it, okay? Because I haven't tasted it yet. Did you taste it? Did you get a little sip?
Yeah, I got into it. I got into it. I can grilled whitefish. I could or shrimp. Yeah, I could eat those with this.
I don't know if I would. To me, it's good, okay? But
Yeah,
this is just like a drinker for me. I don't know if I would pair it with like, you know what I mean? I don't.
you're not gonna pair it with food.
I don't know if I would. I mean, obviously, I don't really necessarily usually like beer with food anyway. But um, yeah, I don't know if I'm just like, you know what jumps off the plate? A big old bowl of ceviche.
Yeah, I'm not a big beer drinker with food in general.
Yeah, neither am I. So that's why it's tough with the pairing. Alcohol, really, in general, but that's why it's very tough with the pairing. But I just don't because it is peached. I don't know if I
Also,
don't know if I would pair.
I also don't like to eat after. I mean, drink after I eat. I love to eat after I drink, though.
Yeah, it depends. So like I'm not a big, I'm primarily a beer drinker. I'm not a huge liquor, I guess, kind of drinker. I do, if anything after eating is gonna be like straight whiskey. Like that's
Yeah,
how I would rather.
something that's not gonna bubble you up.
Yeah, old fashioned, something neat, like that's fine. Um, but yeah, most of my beer drinking is going to be in lieu of eating, which is not always healthy, or earlier in the evening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not night capping with a beer. It's just not happening. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah, no, that's I can't, which ironically is what we do when we record these episodes.
Yes, that is.
We
But
we nightcap, but that's through necessity, not through pleasure, you know?
that's sheer availability and or convenience.
Yeah. But I've noticed that because like when I first turned 21 and I started
Hmm.
getting into the craft scene and trying like new stuff, I would have a beer with dinner because I was like, this is a new thing for me, right? And maybe a lot of people go through that. I'm not sure, but it was like a new thing. So I was like, yeah, I'll have a beer with dinner. Let me grab a Crawford with dinner or a Shiner with dinner. Like no big deal. And it's not that it's an unpleasant experience. It's just a lot. You know what I mean? It's because like you're drinking bread and you're eating bread, apparent essentially. You know what I mean?
Also, too, I struggle with very severe, or I did at one point, acid reflux. And I feel
Yeah,
like adding beer to anything I was eating just like spaghetti, or not, it just amplifies anything. Acid from fruits, acid from
yeah,
vegetables, vinegar components, like anything like that.
yeah, for sure.
Uh,
But when you do it beforehand, whatever you eat winds up soaking it up, and it's real. Well, assuming that you eat some bread of some kind, I guess you can't just like throw a salad on top of 14 beers. You know what I mean?
not with that attitude, you can't. Let's
Well,
fucking do it.
you can, but you might throw it on top, but it's gonna throw it right back up.
Yeah. Speaking of, I just thought about this. Speaking of ceviche, we had Conch Ceviche this weekend. Um,
Conch.
yeah, conch or conch.
Mm.
You know what I'm talking about? The big
Yeah,
things that you blow through.
like I can hear the ocean.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
whatever. Um,
that's
yeah,
interesting. I've never heard of that.
yeah. Honestly, pretty good. The only thing is like I, I think I would. I liked it. I did, but there's just something like, and it's. I'm not. It's no. I'm not. Knocking on any foreign country. But like they're just not real super keen on refrigerating shit. And like to me,
Yeah.
ceviche is something that should be ice cold, right?
Yeah, it should not be room temp.
No. And so it was safe, I assume, but it was room temp. And I was like, it's just something about raw room temp fish with lemon and onion and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It would have been
Yeah.
like let's say it was like a 5 or 6. it could have easily have been like an 8 if it would have been cold and not room temperature.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's interesting. Was it grainy? Was it like the conch or conch or
No,
whatever, like grainy?
no. Honestly, the texture of the conch was more like, and I don't. We're gonna have to get Google to pronounce that. The texture of the conch was kind of like mussels.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like clams, if you will.
So did it taste like shrimp ceviche? Like did it taste normal just with
So
conch?
yeah, yes, but it was pretty much like they cubed up the first off they cleaned it. They showed you how they got it out of the
Oh,
shell.
okay. Is that
And
weird?
and yeah, well, okay. Not really, because I mean it's just harvesting like you would an oyster or any other
That's
type
true.
of, right? But where they were doing it and what they were doing it with
Mm.
and like the setup that they had, sketchy. Okay.
All right.
All right. Um, but aside from that, they clean it and they cube it all up. You know, they remove like the organs and all that other stuff. And then they cube it all up.
Yeah.
And so yes, to answer your question, it is like a shrimp ceviche, but it's more like onions, jalapenos, tomatoes, and then vinegar or sometimes citrus or something like that. But it's firmer than shrimp.
Mm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot firmer.
Was it? Did y'all cracker that stuff
No, I
or
just
just
ate it with a
straight
spoon.
just spooned it in?
Just spoon it. But you know what? Now that you say it, it would have probably been way better on a
Oh,
cracker.
dude, that's that one. I wouldn't say the only way I eat ceviche, but that's like the way I eat ceviche.
So then later, okay, so we had conch ceviche at the one place, and then later on, like the next day, they had ceviche when we were on this beach, chilling. Which
Mm.
again, I don't know if it's just an American thing, but like, I want my ceviche in a nice, air-conditioned, dark, damp dining room, you know?
Yeah, not in the sun on the beach.
Yeah, these two, I mean, I'm obviously Katie had some, but they were just eating it out of like a plastic container with fucking
Oh,
crackers while it's about 1,000,000 degrees. You know what I mean? Anyway,
oh,
so that apparently that one was good too. I didn't eat that one, but yeah, so that was that.
that's pretty cool though. I didn't even
I
know
would,
conch ceviche was a thing.
yeah, I didn't either. I mean, I assume people were eating conscious because conscious,
Consciously?
but yeah, eating consciously. It's how can you be conscious of the fact that you're eating conch? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. You got to be pretty conscious about it.
And they were, I mean, self-conscious a little bit, but they were definitely mowing down a bunch of conch.
That's insane. And this was where? Where did y'all go?
We're in the Bahamas. That's where the conch was.
Like, was there
Um,
a specific area or
in Nassau, so the city capital,
Nassau?
Nassau.
Nassau. I don't
Nass,
remember how.
Nassau, and I think it's Nassau. Right down what the fish fry, if you're familiar with that particular stretch of area. But
I'm not really. The
yeah,
only thing I know about Nassau is that it's the hub in that pirate show Black Sails. That's the only thing I know
never
about it.
never seen that. Is that new?
No. I mean, it ended in 2017, I think. But
No. Oh, yes. Okay. So it's not super new of a show, but also is it like what time period is the show in?
oh, like the 1600s, maybe.
Okay. Was it a good show?
Maybe. I mean, I only watched 2.5 seasons so far, but it's pretty
Are you
solid to
like in
me.
on it right now?
Not right now. I was listen. Here's the thing. Okay, it was really good. I was in, but I was watching on Hulu, and it's very difficult for me to watch shows on Hulu because my brain has now been programmed by the modern society to be able to skip ads, and I can't do that on Hulu, and it drives me crazy.
Okay, so I feel you, but also I don't have an issue with the ads. I think that it's just maybe I'm fine with it. Okay, but what pisses me off about Hulu and Hulu, like I'm not the only person this happens to, so y'all need to get your shit together. I'll be watching an episode, and then it'll like go to a commercial, and I'm like, oh, okay, no big deal. And then when it comes back from commercial, it's a completely different show in like the middle of the fucking episode. I'm like,
Really? That's never happened
yeah,
to
that's
me.
never. Oh, it happens to me all the time.
No, but what I do
Or
hate is when I finish a show and it automatically picks something else for me to watch, because this is
yeah,
what's happened a couple times. Whenever I was in my What We Do in the Shadows phase where I was running through that, I would finish. It wasn't even the show. It was like an episode. I would finish an episode, and it would be like, "All right, now here's some anime," and I was like, "What? I
what?
don't watch anime. Why is there? Why is anime being played right now?" It really is bad if you're trying to go to sleep at night. You know what I mean? Hulu's
I
not
think
the thing to do.
I completely get it. I have a, I think we've talked about this a little bit, but I have like, I'm still that one person using Pandora, but it's because I have stations that I built over years, just years, and you can't tell
Your
me.
algorithm is crazy on Pandora. You have the best Pandora algorithm on the planet.
So I have a couple of really clutch channels, okay? And I've shared with you guys at least the foundation upon which I've built one of them. But and I'll give that one briefly in a second, but the other channel, like, dude, I'm pretty sure I'm the only person in the world that has a very specifically 19 like 78ish to like 1988ish, 89, I think a little bit. Um, Mainstream country music that occasionally drops in a little bit of Zeppelin and some Black Sabbath. So think about that as an algorithm. Think about
So,
that.
okay. Yeah, that's pretty insane.
So that's very unique. And those years are very, very important because of the artist subset. But I need occasionally like like in a perfume shop when you get a
Mhm.
sniff of the coffee, that's the Zeppelin
Yeah.
and the Sabbath going through there.
Kind of
But anyway, so that's
lighten your fire one more time real quick.
yes, exactly. So that's one instance of of Pandora Station, and then the other one, like I said, I've told a lot of people about this, but if you really, 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 if someone of our age and someone that grew up where we kind of grew up, um, you got to start with the spin doc. I know it's going to sound weird, but start with the spin doctors, and it's almost going to build itself. Yeah, you got to give it a little bit of guidance, keep it between the
Yeah.
lines, obviously. But everybody says, "Oh, you got to start with Hootie." You got no, 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 no. You got to start with the spin doctors, and everything else will come into play. Everything
Yeah.
else will build itself. Like if you build it, they will fucking come. And you got to start with the spin doctors, and
Hmm.
just trust me on that. If you were into like semi-mainstream, half-ass jam bands that were popular in that early '90s, yeah, that's gonna be a good place to start. Is
And
it as good
if
as mine? Hands down, no way. But
and if you're not into that, quite honestly, you can stop listening to the podcast because
or hold on, benefit of the doubt here.
the vibes are just off. Or give it a chance. You know.
That is true. That's what I say. Yes, you're right, and I'm not because we're not follower sluts or anything like that. But I would say for sure you say you don't like it, but it's because you haven't started and built it. I'm telling
Yeah.
you,
Uh
like
huh. Yeah, that's true. There was a time there for. Well, I mean, it still really is a time, but there was a pretty thick period of time in our lives where every family event that we went to, it was Spin Doctors Radio in the background. And it's because everybody loves it. It even if you don't know it, you know it. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. You don't have to know the names of the songs or who's singing them, but it comes on and you're like, "Oh, yeah, I
yeah.
know that."
Also, which occasionally just I'll mess with Katie because like I don't know, spoiler alert or like disclaimer or hold your ears, but like I'm pretty much not at all a T Swift fan because I just don't
Yeah.
necessarily care for her music. Okay, I'm not being offensive. That's just where I'm at. So I'll make pokes at her sometimes, like just on purpose. Like we'll be listening to like the 900th fucking track, and I'll be like, please this, can you turn this off? Okay. But that's again just poking at her because honestly, it's not that bad. But I feel like with Spin Doctors, it could be on for days. The Spin Doctors radio, okay, that genre. It
Yeah.
could be on for days and days, and not a single person, even if you're anti, alternative, anti pop, anti rock, not a single person's gonna go, could you change this? It's not gonna
Yeah.
fucking happen. It's just
Can
not
you
gonna happen.
listen? Just turn that off. Really? Can we
It,
change it? Yeah.
it's never gonna happen.
It has never happened. The only thing is like I think the only thing that might have happened is if somebody requested like a specific song. You know what I mean? Like if it
Hmm.
wasn't just like background stuff, but we were actually kind of listening.
Yes.
And someone was like, "Hey, I
Oh,
want to hear this," but it was never like, "Hey, can you change it off of this?" It was like, "Hey, can we also listen to this real quick?"
yeah. Well, because then I think people get triggered by it. They're like, "Oh, hell yeah!" You know what else was a good
Yeah,
song? Yeah.
yeah, that's what it is.
I forgot for a second why
It
we were.
was
This
the
is how
90s.
90s. I was so passionate about Spin Doctor's Pandora Radio that I forgot why we had to reach this, why we were going down this rabbit hole. But now I remember. It's because Hulu takes it upon some liberties in picking what you want to watch next.
Yeah, I'm not about that though. Listening is a lot different than watching.
I agree. Well, okay, I agree. But also not on something like Hulu or Netflix where we've gone there specifically to watch something, okay? I will give YouTube a little bit of a free pass.
Yeah, I'll give them that.
Okay?
Because I'll tell you what, YouTube's
Sometimes
bet
they're on it.
YouTube's batting about YouTube's batting about 600 on recommendations for me. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
I know
It's better
like
than a
they
50-50 chance that they're going to nail it.
I would say this, and I don't know how it works, but when Hulu and Netflix are like, "Hey, you should watch this," I'm like, "Eh, not
Yeah.
okay, I guess," you know. But when it's YouTube, I'm like, "I didn't even know I wanted to watch this,"
Dude,
and
that's what I was
now,
gonna, you remember when I was deep into the lawn mowing stuff?
yeah,
I
yeah,
got
exactly.
dude, not a single time I had not even YouTubed a random video of like lawn mowing or mower reviews or anything or any kind of lawn equipment. And one day I just get on YouTube and that was recommended to me and I went on like a month-long binge of watching this dude cut lawns. You
So
know,
so okay, that's how they know. Like they just know you. And again, it's there's
they just
something.
know.
We've talked a little bit about this with the Spotify Wrapped and like your YouTube history, but you're right.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do have some little Easter eggs that they just throw. I think that they're just like, fuck it. What are they gonna do? Not watch the video? Like,
Yeah.
there's no harm, and I
Well,
guarantee you, they're better off more often than not just throwing it out there.
yeah. I mean, I've also started I've told you I've started watching that guy build Legos because I'm a child on the inside, I
Yeah,
guess.
no,
But like, I never once in my life thought that I was going to enjoy watching somebody build and place a Lego city. Never once did I think, oh hell yeah, that's what I'm gonna YouTube and watch. But they recommended it one time, and I tell you what, grand slam.
you know what? You're right. Okay, it made me think of this. I always have arguments all the time about how marketing, email marketing. Were you and I talking about this? Email marketing campaigns and ads and things like that, they don't work on me. Okay. I like
Oh
that.
yeah,
That's okay. That's my claim, but hear me out. Okay. If I get a random email from a company, um, and I have not interacted with this company, or maybe even if I have, I'm never just out of spite ever gonna purchase that company's fucking product. Okay, I'm just not gonna do
right.
it. Like, don't slide into my DMs. I will come to you. Okay,
Yeah,
so that's just how I feel. All right, and then obviously, I'm not super influenced by the social stuff. Like, I'll see it and I'll
yeah,
be like, oh, that's cool. And like, if I decide to investigate it, which I guess is what they're wanting, then maybe
yeah.
I'll investigate and I'll go from there. But you know what I do get sold on is when we watch a certain YouTuber and he likes to camp, and then I'll watch his camp, and then immediately, then YouTube would be like, "Hey, you like bushcrafting?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, not really."
I
And then
don't
I'll
know. I've,
watch
I've
that
never really given it a try, honestly, but
exactly, and then I'll watch that, and they're like, "How do you like this?" and "How do you like that?" And then I find myself just being exposed to a lot of products that they're using. They're not necessarily selling them, okay?
no.
But they're just using them, and I'm like, ooh, that is a really cool foldable, packable saw. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna need that, but it'd be nice to show people that I have it. You know what I mean? And so
Well,
that I
not even
I get
that.
it
It's one of
from
those. I'm not. I don't mean. I don't necessarily need that right now. But what if I do?
yeah. So better save the video, and then I'm gonna show it to all my partners.
Yeah.
So it's yes, they do pretty good with that. Like I get I that influences a lot of my at least the rabbit holes that I would go down for decision making on products. So I don't know how much they. Oh, speaking of, I, this is way off topic, but I do want to include it. Speaking of the whole branding and all of those different things, I saw it. It was either an interview. I think it was an interview with the woman who, and I hope this isn't like an offensive site. Is Bumble? Bumble's just like a dating site, right?
Yeah, Bumble was just like it's like Tinder essentially,
Yeah,
but
gotcha.
the girl has to message first.
Okay, okay. So brilliant, brilliant when they launched this branding. Like
Yeah.
so creative. Like the not branding, but their commercialization strategy. It was absolutely brilliant. Here's what they did. They went to massive college campuses. Like, dude, and I don't know, I'm including this because I was in shock because I know this is exactly how the brains of this demographic and the age group that they were targeting works. So they went to campuses, like college campuses, and they did two things. The first thing they did was they took out massive billboard space on campus that was, the red, like, no signal,
Yeah.
like no
Circle
parking,
with a
no whatever.
slash in it.
Circle with a slash. And it was like Facebook, no Facebook. And then it was
Yeah.
like Instagram, scratch, no. Twitter, no. And then Bumble with a no on it. Okay.
Okay.
And then everybody was walking around campus and they were like, oh, they don't want us fucking looking at Facebook and they don't want us looking at YouTube and they don't want us looking at, wait, what the hell is
Mhm.
Bumble?
It was a little bit of
Right?
reverse psychology.
So then everybody goes and finds what Bumble is. Okay. So they start going down the Bumble. Then they got a small population of females, okay, to wear Bumble shirts, but show up to every auditorium class 10 minutes late. Okay.
Oh,
So now it's 10 minutes into the lecture, like lecture's going on. Female shows up in a Bumble shirt. And they weren't like just Bumble tees. Like sometimes they were Bumble tees and sometimes they were like classy Bumble blouses and things like that. People were like, what the fuck is Bumble? Right? And the whole auditorium now is looking at this girl enter this classroom, right?
yeah.
And so very small psychological little tweaks like that, and it just blew up because it got grouped in with all the other social media. It was something that was banned that you couldn't do, and subconsciously people were like, "What? This person shows up late. They're ruining my day." What is a bump? What is that? Like a
What is a Bumble?
performance brand? Yeah. What is a bumble? And I was just like, that is genius. That's creative way to very quickly get your name out there.
Yeah, because what's a better way to get people to do things than telling them they're not allowed to do it? Yeah, that's pretty
Exactly.
interesting. I would never think to do that, honestly. That's
Neither would
insane.
I. Neither would I, but they did, and it worked.
I'll tell you what, though, that's not what YouTube does. YouTube says, hey, you should watch this.
No, they do. They do tell you should watch this. But I'm telling you, they also take. I mean, they keep things kind of close to the hip, but I like the fact that they know I also am confused at what I want to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'll be on a rabbit hole about bush crafting and camping and fly fishing or whatever, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden they're like Asian street food, and I'm like, yeah, actually that would be
Yeah.
refreshing to the palate.
You know, though, what I don't like about YouTube, and here, we're talking about commercials, right, with Hulu.
Yeah.
At least I know for a fact that the commercials are going to be like a minute and 30 seconds to 2 minutes on Hulu, right?
Hmm.
Like in between pauses or whatever. On YouTube, man, it's a coin
Roll the
toss.
dice.
You're
Oh
either
yeah.
going to get a 5 second ad that you don't even get a chance to skip and it moves on to the next thing, or I've gotten a 30-minute
45
full
minute
on
trailer.
full on episode of a TV show as an advertisement. And here's the problem with that, okay? Here's my problem with that is me when I was watching YouTube, or when this became a problem to me, is I was in bed and at this point I could not control my iPad once I was in bed. So I came across a 30-minute advertisement that I could not skip. And in my brain, I thought, this is ableist and this is wrong. This should not be going on right now. What I want from I don't care if I can't skip them. I don't mind watching commercials on YouTube. I really don't because it supports the creators, right? but do not make them over 2 minutes long. That's my cutoff.
So I'll take it one step further, and this isn't a dragging YouTube through the mud, okay? Because we are agreeing they got some good shit going on, okay?
Oh,
As if they give a hell
I
about us, okay?
most of the content that I watch on my daily life is YouTube.
I agree. Which again, for let's use the old corporate cliche. We should write a book called Corporate Cliche. But let's put a pin in that. Come right back to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So um here's what I want to know. How are they picking when I have to watch the whole thing? Because it seems random. Dude,
Yeah.
I'll get 900 skips after 5 seconds, and then all of a sudden they're like, nope,
Got to watch this
full
45 seconds.
yeah, full 3 minutes. And I'm like, ah, dang it. Or sometimes I'll get a skip on the 35-minute video, and then they're like, this one's 43 seconds, and you're watching every second of it, you know?
Yeah.
What? And it's so random.
Yeah, it is very random. That's what I'm saying. That's what I don't like about it is the randomness. I would much rather lose the ability to skip and know that it's going to be 2 minutes long, you know,
Mhm.
than question every time if I'm going to be able to skip.
Yeah,
You
that's
know what I
true.
mean?
There's a
Because another reason is the same. Because when I watch it now, I'm watching on my TV, but I'm controlling my TV with my phone, which is with my voice in bed, right? And so anytime a commercial pops up on YouTube, I'm like, oh man, I need to get my remote app open and get ready to hit skip. And then sometimes I'm sitting there for 40 seconds and it doesn't ever let me skip. You know
well,
what I mean?
so it's interesting
First world
because
problems, man. I'm complaining about the most stupid bullshit right now, you
no,
know?
I know, but that's how I know it's time to go to bed. Like that's or actually
Yeah.
that's how Katie knows like hey, it's time. Because like I'll if I'm watching and like the skip comes up and I don't skip it,
Yeah, it's nighttime.
that means that I've zoned out a little bit.
It's
And
not
she's like, "Are
nighttime.
you sleeping?" I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Yeah, you are. You didn't skip." And I was like, "Ah, dang it."
Yeah, you're right. I can't finish this fishing video.
Trying to play it off. I lost the remote. She's like, "Bullshit, it's on your belly." I'm like, "God dang it."
Yeah.
So there's that.
It's on your
The
belly. Yeah, I
second
know I lost it somewhere over there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, she's like, well, you could lose it there. So the other thing that I was going to say that we were putting a pin in, what were we talking
Corporate
about?
cliches.
Yeah, no. Corporate cliches is what the book's going to be called. And I was just using that to reference the fact that we were putting a pin in what you were talking about. Oh, about the fact that most of the content that you consume is off of YouTube now.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I remember very distinctly, and as I say that, I can't remember exactly when it was. But anyways, it's neither here nor there. Oh, excuse me, I do remember. It had to have been 5 years ago or so because we were living at our other house at the time, 5 6 years ago. We were living at the other house, and this is when I realized you could use your TV for YouTube. That's how new it's been for me. Okay,
Okay.
all right. And our nieces came over, right?
Right.
And they were like, "Oh, I want to watch this thing on the TV." And I was like, "You can't. I don't know if YouTube's gonna work." Like I remember saying that out loud. I don't know if YouTube's gonna work on there. And they were like, "Yeah, it will." And then they like picked something and they watched it. And then when it was over, they picked something else. I think this was back before YouTube was like getting really good with the algorithm. I will give them that. It's been the past couple years that they've been really good.
Yeah.
But they would like pick something and they would watch it, and then they would like pick something else and watch it. And I remember saying out loud, like, what a stupid way to watch television. Like, what a stupid way to consume media and television.
Yeah.
Like, so now you're responsible for picking everything that you like. What if you if are looking for something and you can't find it, or how do you know? I remember saying too, how do you know? Like, you're only getting what you're seeking out. How do you know that you're not going to stumble across something else that you like? Because that's our TV was just like you get what you get kind of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously there was a guide at one point and all that stuff, but I was like, this is ridiculous. And then now you're right. I watch baseball and YouTube. That's it,
Yeah.
pretty much.
It's crazy.
And
It's
now, like I
crazy.
said, now they've gotten it to where they can do, you can do there's like it'll give you new videos and it'll continuously play because when you first could stream through it, it was like you would search it out when the video was over. Like you got the little replay, remember icon?
Yeah.
You could replay it or that was it. You know what I
Or
mean?
you could find something else. Yeah.
Exactly. Um, but yeah, so anyway,
I do
just something.
because Disney Plus recently came out and said they're gonna have channels now on Disney Plus where you can like there's gonna be like a Marvel channel or like a classic Disney channel, so you can just like put it on and there's something constantly playing basically.
Yeah,
And everybody was like, "That's so stupid! Like that's just like TV." And I'm like, "No, it's not like TV. It's similar, but it's not. And here's the
yeah,
difference." You put it on Marvel television, you know it's going to be Marvel
Marvel.
24/7. You put it
Yes,
on Disney Classics, you know it's going to be Disney Classics 24/7. And that's
100%.
awesome. That's an incredible idea. That's where TV should be going. That's what streaming has been missing in my opinion. You should have there should be channels like that on Netflix should have that. Netflix should have a horror channel that they just stream random horror
Oh,
movies that they
horror.
yeah, horror.
I thought you said
Not
hoarder.
horror. Oh
No, no, no.
no.
I thought you said hoarder, and I was like, that's a weird one to use, but I follow. People
No,
like that
cuz
kind of thing.
there are so many horror movies on Netflix that I'm like, that's stupid. I'm not going to watch that. But if they had a channel and that shit was just on, I would watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That was always the clutch thing about television. It was never going and finding what you could find that was on. It was turning on a channel and watching something, and then something else came on after, and you were like, "Oh,
oh, that's pretty good.
yeah,
Dude,
I'll give that a try."
I think that is why that from our, maybe it's just because I'm terrible at it, but I find now that when when younger people tell me about watching a movie, they know exactly what the title is and, exactly who's in it, you know?
Yeah,
And back all the time, people are like, they'll start explaining to me a movie. I'm like, they'll be like, "Hey, have you seen this?" I'm like, "No, I've never seen that." And then they'll like start explaining it, and I'm like, you know what?
yeah,
Maybe I have. And I think it's because organically I happened upon it, not with newer films, but with older stuff.
yeah.
Organically, I happened upon it, but it was just like on a freaking Motel 6 on the beach, because, fucking
Yes,
RCA, and it just
yeah.
happened. And I
With
was
it
like,
with the
oh,
foil antennas, bro.
yeah, but
It was like I don't know. It was just like such a TV was such a different experience. And now people are like mad that we're kind of going back in that direction a little bit. And I'm like, "No, I'm all for it, man. Give me the randomness.
we
Give me the
we we
randomness."
we have spoken exhaustively of my love for a good morning radio show. Okay,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I think that a lot of what I like about it is that, yeah, I know I'm tuning into the show, but from a music perspective, you don't know what you're getting. You're just getting what
Mm.
you're getting. And you
Yeah, you're
can't
not
change
picking.
it and you can't skip it. So like occasionally, yeah, you can go to a different channel or something like that, but not for a morning show because I don't want to miss what's coming back on the show. So
Yeah.
if I'm gonna have to suffer through the Red Hot Chili Peppers,
You
then I will.
you're
You know
not
what I
gonna
mean?
miss the birthday scam, bro. You're not gonna miss the birthday
No,
scam.
exactly.
You're gonna power through whatever music they put on. You're either gonna love it, you're gonna be indifferent, or you're gonna hate it. There's three
Am I?
options there, and then you're gonna get the birthday scam, get a good laugh, and then you're gonna get out of the car. That's what's gonna happen.
That's it. Am I a huge Styx fans? No, they
Hmm.
had a few hits, but I'm gonna suffer through just so that I know that Lori's car was towed, in fact,
Yeah,
and Dean and Raj are gonna let her know.
yeah,
So th- there's certain things, but anyway. So I think TV should get back to that. But I so you don't think that I don't put here backing up for a second. YouTube obviously is still differentiated enough. I'm not saying that Netflix, like I put there's two boats for us in our house. There's
mm,
like Netflix, and the thing is, say what you will, okay? Disney's trying to differentiate a little bit, but dude, Netflix, Paramount, Hulu, um, all of that, like Disney, all that stuff, they're all in one bucket, and then YouTube's in
yeah,
another. You see what I'm
yeah.
saying?
It is.
Like, it's just so. different, even though it's still just content. Um, and so to me, it's like when somebody says, "Oh, are you watching Netflix?" It's gotten to the point where, like, I don't know how to say it, but like, you might when you say like, you know how we use Coke as everything? Like, oh, you want a Coke? Yeah. What do you
Yeah.
want? Oh, I'll take a Sprite.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Netflix is like the everything of streaming.
Netflix is like, yes, it's like that for all the Hulus and all that shit. It's all the same to me. But if
Except,
somebody, yeah,
yeah,
it's
except YouTube.
except YouTube. YouTube is the Dr. Pepper because no one ever like. I don't know how many people go, "Do you want a Coke?" And you go, "What?" "Yeah," and you go, "A Dr. Pepper." That really doesn't happen as much. It's Dr. Pepper or Coke, and then Coke can
Yeah.
be a Big Red or whatever. I don't think people are fucking drinking Big Red anymore. They stopped putting popsicles in a can, I guess. I don't know, but anyway, YouTube
Straight
is its
sugar,
own
bro.
thing, and then streaming on the other side. I don't know how we got down this tangent, but I'm glad that we went there. It makes me feel better on the inside.
Yeah, it does. I just the thing that I get a little overwhelmed with streaming services, right? Because
Hmm.
we now have so much at our fingertips. So much, right? Like back in the day, it was just simpler times. You had TV or you could get a DVD. That was the thing. And you had only a limited selection or a VHS, whatever. You had a limited
Okay.
selection of whatever your movie store had. That was your choices. Now it's like I can spend 35 minutes scrolling through Netflix and then be like, I don't know, let me try HBO Max, right? And then I do the same thing and I'm like, maybe I'll just watch something on Disney. There's so much at our fingertips that it gets overwhelming to me. And I just like the idea of having a channel on these services where I can just go in and be like, you know what, I really want to watch like something scary or something funny and just be able to click and there's something funny playing or there's something scary playing and I can just ride it out and be like, "Oh, well that was kind of a shitty movie, but like I didn't pick it." You know what I mean? Like I didn't have to go in and find it and then be disappointed. You
Dude,
know what I mean? Like does that make
I,
sense?
yeah, yeah, no, 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 no. It kind of it's in the same vein, but not. Like we were talking, having a conversation over the weekend about about very good, um, classic quality films, and the examples that were being used were like Braveheart, um, Gladiator, um, things like that. Like I'll give you those two as examples. And while I agreed with him, I was like, yeah, I mean, those are really good. But I was like, but dude, what about like, in the same similar time period? Not the content, but like, dude, Twister,
Yeah.
or like Armageddon, you
Yeah.
know, um,
Yeah.
freaking Tombstone, like
Mm.
there was a lot of things. And then it dawned on me the reason that they were so clutch to us and they built this foundation and they were so classic and they were so iconic was because we just happened to own them on VHS. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not that, do I think that Braveheart is better than Gladiator, or that Gladiator is better than um I don't know, Ben-Hur or whatever. No. It's just that, well, we happen to have a copy of Twister, so I've seen it 70 fucking times. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
That's what makes it warm and fuzzy for me. It makes it
Yeah.
I'm home I've homesteaded that bitch, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of times people are like, "Oh, it's a really good movie. It's like my favorite movie all the time." And then they say it and I'm like, "Yeah, I think I've seen it maybe once because we didn't have it on VHS."
Yeah.
So
We
I
might
had to
have
wait
stumbled
to
across.
organically
Oh,
catch it.
we might have stumbled across it on TV, but
How many
commercials. My dad doesn't really do commercials very well, so we would just throw a VHS on.
how many times, I think I say this more than I should have to. People will go, "Hey, have you ever seen fill in the blank?" And 90% of the time my response is, "I don't think I've seen the whole thing."
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that or it was like a long time ago though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say
I
that one a
kind of
lot.
remember it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. There, man. Yeah, Twister, man. Like, cause the new Twisters movie is coming out, right? They're releasing a new one,
Yeah, that
like
is confirmed as real.
Yeah, no, it's coming out in like a month, I think.
Okay.
I mean that
I'll let
could
it pass.
that could be an incorrect statement, but like there's trailers and stuff out for it.
Oh, don't go backpedaling now, okay? You made a commitment to it'll be out in a month, so you better deliver.
Well, I'm not Hollywood, so.
Okay.
But
Okay.
anyways, yeah, and a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, this movie looks awesome," and I'm like, "Y'all ain't even seen the prequel. Y'all ain't
Oh
even
yeah.
see the original. Like, y'all need to go back and watch the OG, man. There was nothing to like." That movie is. I'm so glad you brought that up because that movie is so iconic to my childhood.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that movie for me, because we never experienced tornadoes in Texas where we are.
Yeah, but not like that. Like
But I mean, like, we don't see them. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
they
no.
happen, but like, we don't see them. And so
Yeah.
that movie to me was always like a shock that people do this. This is insane. And dude, throwing back a freaking bucket of popcorn, just killing it,
Dude,
dude.
just also too, I think we take for granted because I don't think it did very well.
I don't know. It did well for me. I'll tell you that much.
No,
If they
I
took
know.
the amount of times that we watched that movie in this house, they would have been box office top, probably.
Well, see, so here's the thing. I agree, but here's the thing. And we had a bunch of VHS. It wasn't like we were because I knew
No, it
some people
wasn't.
that had like four. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, we had like
It's
400.
exactly. So, um, and everyone I knew, I think, had a copy of Twister. So I don't know if they were just really hitting hard in the South region,
You
just
know what?
blowing
You
this
know what I
thing down.
think happened is that one probably went on sale pretty quick.
Probably, I
That
bet
that
you.
one probably hit the $5 bin real fast.
Yeah, box office flop, and they were slapping $5 tags on them and dumping them in
Yeah,
the bucket. Sometimes you get one, and you could just tell it was already fucking broken.
yeah.
Anyway, so Twister, dude, we just took for granted that all-star cast too. Holy
Oh,
shnikes, you
dude,
know?
for real.
Bill
You look
Paxton,
back,
Helen Hunt,
you look back now, and you're like, damn, okay.
freaking Philip Seymour Hoffman. Good
Oh
lord,
my
dude.
God, I forgot he was in that. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
insane.
hmm Um, Yeah, I don't know why we were going down that rabbit hole, but it's the content. We need to stop being able to make as many choices as we make in what we consume, I think.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds counterintuitive to the entire model of we should have control, but when it comes to certain entertainment, I'm not saying put graphic things out there for kids or unsuitable content, but like you can't tell me there's anything wrong with somebody catching a fish in a stream.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. You know, going back real quick on the popcorn thing, why why is it that you can't repop it?
Yeah. So I know this is more of a poll question because can you or can you not?
I
My
listen,
my
I've
thought.
never been successful at it. I
You
tried
say you've
one or
tried it?
two. Yeah, I tried one or two times. And now here's the thing though. How are you going about doing it? Are you taking out all the popped popcorn and just popping the rest of the kernels? Because now in my brain I'm thinking, why didn't I do that? Because that's
Okay,
not what I
that
did.
that makes a lot more sense that I've never even thought of till you just said it. But
Yeah.
here, but I think there's a flaw to it. And here's first off, I never even fucking thought of that. I don't even know that you could do
I,
that.
I,
Okay,
I just thought of
but
this.
okay, but I think there is a flaw with it. And so the scenario is this. You take the thing of popcorn, you put it in the microwave, okay?
Yeah.
And you I don't know, in my house with our wattage, it's 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Well, you never need the extra 30, but I just always set it at that. So let's say 3 minutes, okay? You set it for 3 minutes. After it stops popping for 10 seconds, you're supposed to take that bad boy out of there. Otherwise your shit will burn, okay?
Yeah.
And so in my mind, what's unpopped,
That's
sorry, bud.
yeah.
You're just not
You're
getting it. You're just not
we're
getting it this
not.
time.
Yeah. Also, there's a like you know how there's the dilemma with Lay's, right? Where people are like, it's like 90% air. You get like you open a bag of Lay's and you're like, this bag's like half full. I kind
Yeah.
of feel the same way about popcorn now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm
Dude,
losing probably about 20% of my kernels every time I pop popcorn.
yes, Yes, but I have felt like as of late, I don't know if they're making the bags slightly smaller, but they're a lot fuller once popped. I'm not saying we're getting more efficient with the popping. I think they're either making the bag smaller or they're putting more popcorn in it, which
Okay.
is highly unlikely in today's economy.
Yeah,
In
they're
this
probably making
economy,
it smaller. They're probably making things smaller, not bigger.
but it always feels fuller, even though I probably have the same amount of uncooked kernels. But real quick, back to point one. In my mind, you can't put repop the kernels because first off, you'll burn the other popcorn, and if you take them out, you can't put them back in because they've already cooled off. Like I feel like they have to reach a certain point where the water boils, right, or steams, and that's when the kernel pops. But if you heat it up and it doesn't ever pop, and then you cool it down, all of the original moisture is already evaporated. So all you're gonna do is just burn the fucking kernel at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
once you're heating it, you can't stop heating it.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah. You also can't
I
reheat.
think.
You also can't you can't put her back in.
Nope. You also can't like that's my problem with popcorn that you buy like in a bat like smart pop. I want my popcorn kind of warm a little bit,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I don't want it room temp. I get what you're saying. Like
Yeah.
the skinny
Smart
pop
pop,
stuff or
skinny
whatever.
pop.
Yeah.
Nothing against skinny pop. I'm just saying like you can't heat that back up and
Yeah.
it's not and it's always going to be room temp.
Also, man, I dig the whole like flavored popcorn move or whatever. That's fun and it's cool. Right, one of the best things for me about Christmas every year was my dad bringing that freaking tub of or
Oh
that
yeah.
tin of like caramel and cheddar popcorn home or whatever.
Okay, dude, real quick. Okay, so there's always three flavors in it, okay? Listen, before you say anything. There's always three flavors in it at a minimum,
Yeah.
okay? What are those three flavors?
Well, what I
Uh,
remember was just there being a regular flavor
okay.
and then a caramel
Yep.
and then a like cheese flavor.
Correct. And in what order are they gonna be removed from that bucket?
Caramel, cheese, regular.
Yes.
Yeah,
Dude.
every single
I bet
time.
listen, little fun fact, if you go into someone's home and you pop open that tin and the regular popcorn's done first, you better get the fuck out of there. That's a serial killer, dude. There's not a chance in hell that
Yeah.
that's an average American.
Yes, yes, that's so
And I don't give
true.
a shit. I don't give a shit what anybody tells you. There's always three. And dude, I don't know. That's like a dude. It's like a redneck Christmas pinata. That's what that is, dude. Everybody gets them. There's three dividers in there. The biggest section's always the OG. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it was always the
Um,
OG, man.
but anyways, yeah, you would just open that bad boy up and then you would eat those three flavors in that particular order. And I remember telling myself as a kid too, like, oh, I'm gonna eat a little more of the cheese so that it doesn't feel so that it catches up with the caramel. But I
And
never put the
you never
OG
do.
first.
No, no,
No.
no. Well, you also never do. You take a couple of handfuls of the cheese and you're like, yeah, this is good, but like it ain't caramel though.
Dude,
You know?
also too, one last thing. To this day, I look at that and go, it's not all that great. And why are they still
No.
selling them? But as soon as you said it, I could taste that stale cheese popcorn in my mouth.
Yes.
And it's good.
It's good, man. It is. It really is.
Dude, the odds are stacked against you too, because the further you eat down, the larger the headspace that the air stays trapped into, and the quicker that shit gets stale.
Yeah.
It's like it's a exponential algorithm you want nothing to do with.
Yeah. It's the opposite of a YouTube algorithm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's a spectrum.
I'm all for the flavored popcorn movement though. I really am. I mean, clearly, right? It's ingrained in me since a child apparently. But to me, man, there's nothing better than just a slightly buttered bag of popcorn, man. There really
I
is
agree.
not. Especially like I do love movie pop, like movie theater popcorn, don't get me wrong. But it's just because I guess like our childhood it was bagged microwave popcorn. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And for me that's just like the hit, man. That's it. That's what I
We
want.
didn't we didn't really go to them like
I
obviously with
don't
our own
think
friends.
I, I don't like. I went with friends. I don't think I ever went to like we ever went to the movies as a family. We never did
Nope,
because it's
never.
significantly cheaper to just do it at the house.
Well, not only that, but like you can't snack and be as loud as you want and
Yeah,
get up every 15 seconds if you wanted to. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Um, which doesn't bother me at all. I'm not a huge movie goer, but I wonder if I would be if I had done that more as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I love the movies, but I get popcorn at the movies, and I'm like, yeah, this is great. I'm enjoying my experience, but there's nothing. I like. I still want the bagged
Yeah.
microwave popcorn. That's what I want because we never did it on the stove either. You know, a lot of people
And
did
I'm
the stovetop one, which is killer, by the way.
it is killer, but honestly, I don't get the same butter and distribution
No,
that I get in the
you
bag.
don't. You don't. You don't get the same butter distribution.
Honestly, since they started doing that, dude, like, ooh, that was you want to talk
Hey,
about
Orville was on to
revolution?
something. Orville was on to
Hell yeah.
something.
Um, yeah, dude, that was the game changer. Because I mean, can you imagine back in this people, dude, the people that invented the popcorn popper, you know, they used to be like an appliance on the. You ever saw that?
I actually remember seeing this. Yeah, I don't remember seeing it
It,
as a like as a child, like growing up, but I remember seeing
in
this.
movies, usually is
Yeah,
where you saw it.
yeah,
And it was like this thing, and you would put the kernels in it, and they would pop, and they would shoot out of this little chute.
yeah.
And dude, they started putting microwave in, and somebody in the '70s lost their entire fucking livelihood. I
Oh,
bet you
dude,
had all their money in air poppers for the
that's
countertop, and
like
they were like, "Damn you,
that
popping!"
that was like what was the thing in between the record player and the CD that was there for
The
like
eight,
a year and a half.
the 8 track. We talked about this.
Maybe, yeah, I think we talked about it briefly on another episode, but it was like, can you imagine being the guy that was like, the A track is the next thing, baby, and just dropping a lot of money on it, and then like a month later, the CD came out?
Yeah.
You're like,
So I agree.
that's the same
Um,
thing. Someone dropped and they were like, guys, I got a popcorn maker. Come over. We're doing movie night. And then like a month later, they were like, someone else in the group was like, hey guys, movie night at our house. We got some Orville. We're about to throw in the
yeah,
microwave.
yeah. And he was like, "You guys are gonna choose him over me," and they were like, "We didn't ever really like you, Daniel. You were just
We just,
only our
you
inlet
were
to
our popcorn
popcorn."
fix.
Yeah.
You gave us the popcorn.
Dude,
Mm-hmm.
I could just the people that were sold on it. Yeah, the bag stuff's just as good. Just as good. It's not even close. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That was very
it's not
Harry
the same
Carey,
at
but you know
all.
it.
All right,
Okay.
we got to get into the WWYBDs here.
Okay.
Would you like to go first this week?
I wouldn't, but go ahead.
All right, this is
You see what I did there? Okay, go ahead. I
um
wouldn't, but go ahead.
I
Proceed.
I don't the only time like this is a summertime beer for me for sure. I think the
Hmm.
summertime seasonal fits very well for this. I don't see it any other time of year. It's very much a summer beer. And it's just kind of like it's not like a beach beer or a lake beer or anything. It's like a very small get together backyard beer. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Like maybe 10 people, like pretty small. You're grilling, you're out in the, but you're really just chilling in the backyard more than grilling. You got something on there you don't got to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and that's pretty much it. I don't see. I mean, I can drink it other places, but that's what I got them. I got grass. As soon as I drank it, I was like,
Oh,
I'm in the backyard on the
so I
grass.
was gonna say we have almost an identical, but mine's the opposite. You ever go to a buddy's house, and it's not a bad thing, but you ever go to like a buddy's house where um they have like a single drive? There was a lot of houses that had like a single. There was the house, and then they had like a single driveway to a single car detached garage.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the way you would come out of the house, you would step on the little pad right there in front of the garage, and we would all sit there and drink beer. It might have been just one dude's house, but anyways, I see myself drinking beer on pavement, small get together in the backyard. Maybe somebody's got burgers on, but yeah, you're right. It's a super easy. We're not like die hard smoking a brisket. We're not searing steaks. It's just like, hey, we're gonna throw burgers on, throw dogs on, slap that shit in a bun and eat them.
Yeah.
But we're gonna set these lawn chairs up in the driveway. This is what we're gonna be drinking.
Mm.
And it's not necessarily midday, but it's definitely not night.
No.
It's like,
Sun's
you
up.
know,
Sun's
yeah,
up. It's either going down or it's up. One of the two.
yeah.
It's not
Like,
coming up. I'll tell you that much.
no, it's not coming up, but yeah, like I would say that 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock stretch, three
Yeah.
o'clock, 6 o'clock
Yeah.
stretch.
You starting to get the sunshine beams coming across. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
I also just feel like I don't know why, but I feel like 9 times out of 10, this can's gonna be warm in my hand or something like that. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
That's interesting. All right. Well, we can get into the ratings now. You want me to go first again?
No, 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 no. I'll shoot it. I'll shoot it.
Okay.
So on entry, I have a 4.
Okay.
Aftertaste, I have a 4. It's definitely peachy. It's not overwhelmingly peachy. I'm glad that we did. I feel bad that we kind of saved this till the end because we normally give some of that insight right out of the gate. But you definitely get the peach, but it's not overwhelming. It doesn't taste artificial. You still get beer first. Like it's a beer
Yeah.
first, and then it's peach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So entry I have a 4, aftertaste I have a 4. Body I have a 3. Nothing wrong with a 3, guys. Okay, body I have a 3. It's what is to be expected. It's a light beer, and it's the only thing that would have made. I thought it was going to be a little. In my mind, I thought it was going to be a little thicker and a little fuller because of the peach, but it's about the same as a light. At least the Love Street light. Um,
Yeah.
Color, I have a 3. Not bad, not good. Kind of, I always wish that things would be a little bit darker and that the head would be a little thicker. Again, that's programming in my brain, but 3 is a solid score. Bitterness, I have it a 4, and here's why. I think that with peach, I was expecting it to be sweet, and it's not at all, really,
Hmm.
in my opinion. Do you have sweetness?
No, but I'll get into
Yeah, yeah, you do
into
you.
those.
And then for acidity, I have a 4 as well because I think I get what I want from acid wise. And then fizz, I have a 4. They were fruitful burps. They felt great all the way around. So I have a total score of I think 27, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 20. That's impossible. 26.
All right. Um. Yeah. I mean, we're pretty similar for some of these. Entry, I have a 4. Aftertaste, I have a 4. I think it's agreed. It's pretty much spot on. I did enjoy that it was beer forward first with like a little hint of
Mhm.
peach. That was very nice. Very nice.
But
Very crisp. Very refreshing.
but you say hint of peach, but you're gonna get the right like you're not gonna be like, does it have peach in it? No.
No.
You're
No. No.
gonna
No.
know it has peach in it, but it doesn't slap you in the face, you know what I mean? It
Yeah. It's
doesn't
not
stick
right out the
around
gate.
either.
It's not right out the gate. Yeah, and it didn't stick around. Body, I have a 4. And honestly, I'll be real. On all three of these, I was teetering on a 5.
Okay.
I was very close to a 5. In fact, I went back and forth a couple times. But body, I have a 4. I think, again, like I said, you get beer out the gate, but you get that peach. I think it's almost almost what I want if I'm gonna drink a peach beer. You know what I mean? Color, I don't know if maybe I saw something different. I have a 5 on color. I think it's
Okay.
pretty solid as for like a light lager color. I didn't see how fast the foam dissipated though, but it looked good when you poured it initially. Um, so that's what I went. Bitterness here, I have a 5 on bitterness.
Okay.
I think it's it's almost as bitter as you would expect like a Bud Light, right? Like another light lager, but you get the bitterness of kind of the peach as well, kind of like a little bit of peach skin bitterness afterwards.
Like the
Um,
tannins in the skin.
yeah. So I thought it was almost spot on for me what I would expect. Acidity again, I have a 5. I think it's fruity enough, but it's not too fruity. Again, very crisp, very refreshing. And fizz, I had a 5 as well. The burps came quick, they came often, and they were all very enjoyable. Um, so that's my total is a 32. I think this is a
Damn.
I think this is a damn good beer. I would buy this again. In fact, I took about 5 sips of this and I thought I don't have enough at the
Yeah.
house. So whenever I gave my WWYBD about it being a very niche thing that I was like seeing myself doing, I can see myself doing other summer things. That was just the most prevalent thing in my brain. I was like, I'm in the backyard with the boys, but I can be doing a lot of other things as well.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit at the beginning. I don't know if I would have ever approached this like
Yeah, no,
organically.
this is some I saw this and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And this was before we had the other peach beer when I bought this one.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is interesting. Never
Well,
would have thought to get this.
I would have never just like organically approached it, but I will say now, yes, I will drink it again. It's not a fridge sitter. I'll tell other people to get it, and I will tell everyone else if it seems odd, it's fucking not. Like it's good in a
Yeah.
good way. In a good way.
Yeah.
Um, just do it. Like I'm pretty sure somebody else owns the trademark on that, but just do it.
Just drink it.
Yeah,
We'll
just
say
drink
just
it.
drink it. Yeah, I agree. Definitely not a fridge sitter. Will get again. This might
Is it good?
be
Is it
do what
strictly season? Like, is this a one-time seasonal? Is it or have they done
you
this before? Like, I don't know if there's
no.
a. I don't. I don't
This is
remember
the
ever
first
seeing
time
it.
I've seen it for sure. It says seasonals though, so this I guess it's gonna be a seasonal.
And what else was in there? Was the what else was in there seasonal? The Oktoberfest. Oh, yeah, it's a pretty good
The
indicator. It's good
Oktoberfest
for
and the Staycation, which I've never seen. So, yeah. In fact, I see myself getting at least
waiting for it seasonally.
getting at least a 6 pack of this every summer. I can see myself.
Oh yeah, yeah. It'll be something that you'll look for. Like, dude, we'll use it like we start using other beers. Where we're like, oh shit, the peach is
Yeah,
out. Hell
it's
yeah,
time.
it's almost Memorial Day kind of thing.
It's Memorial Day. Yeah. So yeah, solid beer. I enjoy it. We'll be getting again for sure. We have gotten to that point in the podcast where I'm going to tell you to go follow us on social media on Twitter and TikTok at Off the Tap Pod, and on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Off the Tap Podcast.
Peach, peach, it's good for your heart. No innuendo, just drink it.